Hi, I'm Terrell Turner, the host of the Business Talk Library, and today I have another special guest on, and I always love highlighting the businesses that are in the Carolinas because, as most of all the guests know and the viewers know, I'm located in Charlotte, so it's great to highlight the local business owners that are doing great things. So today I have Jacinda Merchant on, and she's going to talk about her business, Tier& Co. So welcome to the show.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, Jacinda, before we get into your business, Tier& Co.,
Mhm.
tell us a little bit about your background before you started this business.
Yeah, so I grew up in the small town of Fort Lawn, South Carolina. It's about 45 minutes away from Charlotte. Went to Louisville, graduated from USC with my degree in business. And then after that, it's just been full speed ahead trying to get this business going, essentially.
So what made you go the route of starting a business versus kind of, you say, the traditional route of you went to college, did
Mhm.
well there, instead of going to get a job, just deciding to start a business? What made you do that?
So honestly, I didn't really have a choice. Growing up in a small town, being a part of the wedding industry was unheard of. So there wasn't a lot of connections or anybody in the industry around me that could kind of take me under their wing and just learn. So I had to launch my business in order for me to learn the industry and be able to kind of get into the flow of the Charlotte market and really making a name for myself in order to be a wedding planner.
Awesome. Now, I've seen your videos, but the photos and the posts on
Yes.
Instagram, and it looks like you guys are doing a great job.
We're trying.
So, what was it like, kind of when you first started off? 'Cause like I said, you didn't really have anyone to kind of show you the ropes. What
Yeah.
were the early days like of Tier& Co?
Man, it was a struggle. I tell people every time. I started my Instagram page the day after I graduated college. And throughout that whole process, I was emailing other wedding planners. I was trying to hit people up on Instagram, sending messages on Facebook, and I contacted over 70 vendors and only 4 of them responded. And they were like, why are you wanting to wait? Just go for it. You see that nobody is helping you. Just do it yourself. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna bite the bullet. I'm gonna go ahead and go. So I literally bought tons of wedding planning books. I was looking at different color schemes, trying to figure out, okay, what goes here? What flowers work with this color? Okay, what venue fits this type of person? I literally just taught myself everything that I know thus far.
Oh wow, that
Yeah.
shows a lot of tenacity right there.
Yeah, it was a long journey.
So you graduated from college. Next
Mhm,
day,
mhm.
you made a ton of phone calls, and now
Yeah.
you're just diving in. So now how long have you been in business?
It's been 3 years.
3 years. So in
Yeah.
your 3-year journey, what is it like now when you look back on those 3 years, like compared to now? What do you say
Mhm.
is different?
I definitely say my approach is a lot different. Back then, I was always waiting to hear that yes, and the no's really would hit me hard. But now I'm at the point where if people say no, I'm like, all right, cool, let's go on to the next one. I'm not waiting to get what I want. I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. That way I know I'm gonna get it. So I think if I had to go back and change anything, I wouldn't. I would just go through the same process all over again.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, 3 years in, so are you still
Mhm.
doing it by yourself, or do you have a team around you now, or do you have partners working with you in the business?
So I am still a one woman team. I have 3 sisters, and then I have a lot of close friends. So they are kind of my team whenever I need be. I am getting ready to transition into more of the wedding design side and do less of the actual wedding planning. So I know eventually I am going to have to, actually get myself a team. But right now, it's still a one woman show.
Okay, gotcha. Now, so as a one-woman show, tell us a little bit about, the types of services that you provide with Tier& Co.
Yeah, so right now we are heavy on the wedding planning portion. So a lot of the logistics, doing the timelines, going through the blueprints, helping you stay with your budget. That is more so what we're doing now. Eventually, I will like to do a lot more of the design portion. So going in and doing the floor arrangements, doing the candles, doing a lot more of the backdrops. And then we also do a lot of consulting. So a lot of brides, because of their budget, they don't want to hire a planner, but they would rather have a consulting session, just asking, hey, what do you think we should do? What would you suggest? Do you have anybody you would recommend? So we do a lot of that as well.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
you probably come across a lot of interesting situations. I mean, because if you watch television
Mhm.
and you hear about all the bridezillas,
Yes.
and I honestly think that there are probably some groomzillas out there too. Um,
Yeah, it probably is. Yeah.
so I guess when it comes down to, weddings where
Hmm.
it's so people are very particular about their opinion, like
Yeah,
um, when you're building a business, I mean, it's easy if you have, hey, here's my product, you can buy it off the shelf. But when you have
right.
to adjust to every single client in their own
Mhm.
unique way, like how is that process for you?
So I just have to really remind myself to stay flexible. Every bride is different. They have their own different ideas. They have their own different vibe that they're going for. So I always try to stay flexible, and I always try to stay up to date with what's in. Like right now, a lot of the neon lights and stuff like that, those are in. So I try to make sure I continue doing my research. I stay flexible and I stay consistent. Now, granted, on my Instagram and my Facebook, I'm not consistent posting wise, but I always keep in touch with everybody. I'm always reaching out to vendors. Hey, what you guys got going on? You want to do a style shoot together? What you want to do? Or if I'm networking with new people, hey, you came across my Instagram. I just wanted to get to know you, introduce myself, things like that. So I try to stay involved in some sense, but I also try to make sure I'm not spreading myself too thin, but staying flexible for my clients as well.
Gotcha, gotcha. So when you think about, weddings, I mean, are there any, I guess you say, funny stories that you can share without sharing the names? Any funny stories of the wedding planning process that you've come across?
Yes. So let me think. I got a couple. Which one do I want to share? Um, I did actually recently. I had a bride who actually actually turned her down because she reached out to me via social media, and she wanted to have 200 people wedding, $35,000 budget. I said, okay, we can see what we can do. But as we were getting to the point where I'm sending her a contract to sign for my services, she started calling me every other day, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, because she would think of something or she would find a problem and things like that. And it went on for a couple of weeks. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I gotta reel this back. I love my job, but I love my sleep. So I had to kind of tell her, like, hey, I said, nobody is up at 2 o'clock in the morning where I can call to fix your issue. And then we also haven't even signed a contract. So, we got to kind of come to some sort of boundary. And I ended up having to decline and from her trying to use me. But it made me laugh because I'm like, I gotta figure this out. I gotta figure this out.
I think that's a very interesting situation for, I think,
Yeah.
when you're in a service industry, because it's like you want to provide a ton of value.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
and I get it myself because I'm a CPA. So with working with different clients, like I want to provide a ton of value, but
Yes.
until we get a signature on the contract,
Exactly.
I'm not working for
Yeah.
you yet. It's just
Yeah.
like everything is free up until we actually get a
Right.
contract and an agreement. So it's a very tricky thing.
Yeah, I definitely have to. That is one of the things I definitely have to work on because I'll have brides, they'll text me questions and questions and questions, and I'm just like, okay, wait a minute. Let's make this legit, and then you can ask me all you want.
Gotcha, gotcha. So when you think about, I mean, when people want to get in touch with you or when they want to find you
Mhm,
on social media,
mhm.
what do they search for or where do they find you online?
Yeah, so my Instagram is Tier Co Events and my Facebook is Tier and Company. You can find my personal Facebook. I don't really get on there much, so if you find me and send me a friend request, I'll accept it. I mean, that doesn't bother me. But yeah, those are my main two places. And my website, tierandco.co.
Awesome, awesome. So when you think about, the future of Tier and Co,
Mhm.
what would you say is kind of like your goal of where do you want to take it next?
Well, I definitely have a couple things that are in the mix. Definitely expanding wedding services wise. Definitely gonna dabble into the publication side of things, try to get something going there. And really just growing more here on the East Coast in the Carolinas, trying to still just get our name out there and just, get the recognition that I feel like I, should get later on in life, essentially.
Awesome, awesome. Well, before we wrap up, there one question that I like to ask every guest that comes on
Okay.
is, as you think about, your journey, what's
hmm
two pieces of wisdom that you would give to other entrepreneurs based on things that you've learned in your own journey?
Number one definitely is do not wait for somebody else to make your dream come true. If you really want it to happen, then you need to put your big girl pants on and do what you got to do to make your dream come true. And then my second piece of advice would be to really, really do your research on everything. A business is not just doing it. You got to understand the laws and policies that you have to abide by. Um, Doing your trademarks and all those things, learning how to do SEO on a website. Really make sure that if you're going to get into it, you have the proper knowledge to be able to fully successfully run a business.
Awesome. Well, Jacinda, thank you so much for coming on to the show, telling us a little bit about,
Thank
your
you.
business and your journey. We really appreciate hearing it and sharing the interesting stories and the lessons that you've learned. Yeah, we definitely
Yes.
will keep an eye out for your business and watch your continued success.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for tuning in to the Business Talk Library. If you like what you heard and you want to hear more, be sure to click the subscribe button and follow us on all social media platforms as the Business Talk Library.